Dave, going back to when it all began, that is the brand strategy, can you recall what impressed you about the BrandQuest process?
What impressed me about that process, it's still indelibly stamped on my mind. The process allowed us to find out, first of all, who we were. It wasn't as though BrandQuest came in and told us who we were. The process was able to challenge us and to drill down to identify what was the DNA, what was inherent in our culture. And that was a really interesting process for all the staff who participated to go through. And we found that really refreshing and pretty exciting, I must say.
The brand strategy dictated the need for a new name and a new brand. How was that exercise for you and your management team?
That exercise of a new brand was challenging because BrandQuest presented to us ultimately a choice between evolution and revolution. And evolution would have been a simple, easy step to take, but we could see through the whole process that we'd gone through with BrandQuest that we actually needed to go down the revolution path. And again, to get the buy-in from the board, the management team, it was unanimous that that's the path we needed to take. And history's proven it was definitely the right path. But it took courage. It took courage to get there. And I think the relationship that we had with yourself and Graham was testament to the fact that we had total trust in what you were saying. We just needed to trust ourselves.
One of the brand strategy's key outputs was a new brand essence. Clearly, you've embraced that with passion from top down. Can you tell us about the role that it played as describing the heart of your brand?
The heart of our brand, we didn't really know at the time what the brand essence, what it meant, let alone what it should be. And I think that your process that you took us through helped us to identify that, first of all, our brand essence is really important. It's not just throwaway lines, it's actually who we are. And you helped us to identify our brand essence is good neighbour. And once we acknowledged that, it was just a simple process to then say, you know what, we are good neighbours. What would a good neighbour do in certain circumstances? Not just in good times, but in challenging times. And we now use that regularly for internal discussions and external discussions, and it resonates with people because that's what people want. They want to deal with a good neighbour.
Was the good neighbour, was that always there in the organisation? Had that always been there?
I think it always had been, but we just didn't know how to describe it. And the simplification, what seems to be just a few simple words, was quite a process to get to. But once you got to it and landed on it, it just made so much sense. And it made life a lot easier for our marketers, for the internal discussions, because you'd almost say at every committee meeting, how would a good neighbour react to that? And it made discussions and decisions a lot easier. We all know what a good neighbour looks like and not such a good neighbour as well. I'd suggest the big four banks aren't good neighbours. Whereas from our point of view, as a good neighbour, what does a good neighbour do to support their community?
Can you talk a bit about the results or the success of the brand?
Well, I guess in banking terms, in the metrics, we've more than doubled in size. The connection with our members has grown over 200% in terms of products per member and the value per member. We're not for everyone, we recognise that. We're not for the high-end business clients. We're after the mums and dads, and when they connect with us, we find that whilst we do a fair bit of advertising on social media, it's the referral business from our existing members because they're proud of that relationship and they want others to benefit by that. So from our point of view, that process we went through was a great investment at the time, and it's been proven time and time again because that's who we are. And that's who we'll be for many decades to come.
To appear there's a high level of trust in BrandQuest expertise and advice.
It's more than appearance. You guys are trusted suppliers. We take great confidence in what you say has been accurate. You're willing to challenge us. Bear in mind, we're bankies. We're paid to be conservative people, and we are conservative. So to get us to come outside our shell takes a real skill on behalf of BrandQuest. It takes courage on behalf of the client to have that willingness. But that trusted relationship is there, and it's something that we will tap into as we look to expand our brand potentially into other areas.
Is there any other things that you want to add?
I'd happy to be a referral for any client looking at BrandQuest from the point of view of an investment. You're not paying for fancy overheads, you're actually paying for really good intellect. And the process is an exciting one to go through. And until you go through the process, you probably don't understand just how good it can be.